Earth had changed. No more wars between countries, no hunger, no chaos. Humans had finally learned to live together. Cities floated in the sky. Oceans were clean again. People looked to the stars not with fear, but with dreams. Then, one morning, the sky broke open over New York, Tokyo, Nairobi, and Rome. The clouds twisted like smoke. The air turned cold. Every bird stopped mid-flight. And then, without warning, a massive shadow covered the sky. It was not a cloud. It was a ship. Black, silent, miles long. It didn't blink, shine, or roar. It simply floated, watching. It looked like a giant insect with smooth metal skin and sharp, folded wings. Everyone across the world looked up, confused, frozen. Then came the message. Every screen, every radio, every phone buzzed to life. The message played in every human language. Observe, learn, kneel. That was all it said. 3 words. Cold, final, arrogant. In Washington, Earth's Global Council gathered in panic. In Delhi, scientists rushed to track the ship. In Nairobi, pilots took off into the clouds only to disappear midair. Nothing could touch the ship. No radar worked. No weapons locked. Inside a control room, buried under the Arctic ice, one woman didn't panic. Her name was Captain Rhea Lynn, a quiet genius, a strategist for Earth's space defense. She watched the mothership on a hologram screen. Sipping her tea slowly, "They came," she said calmly. "Right on time." Her assistant, a young man named Kian, looked at her in shock. "You were expecting this." Rhea didn't look at him. Her eyes stayed on the screen. "We've always known something was out there," she said. "We just hoped they'd come in peace." Kian's voice cracked. "They just made half our jets disappear." Rhea stood up and walked to the center of the room, a long table lit up with satellite feeds. Cities glowing in red, heat signatures changing, people vanishing. "It's not an attack," she whispered. "It's a test." "A test?" Kian asked. Rhea nodded. "They're studying us, far away." In a small town in India, a boy named Arjun was selling fruit on the street. He looked up and saw the sky turn silver. Everyone screamed and ran, but he just stared, holding an apple in his hand. He felt something, a vibration in his chest, like a heartbeat, but not his own. Miles away, in the forests of Canada, a woman screamed as her dog vanished before her eyes. No sound, no trace, just gone. In London, 5 people collapsed while walking. Their eyes glowed blue for 3 seconds. Then they stood up and walked away like nothing happened. The aliens didn't introduce themselves, but one man knew who they were. In a dark apartment in Japan, an old man sat alone with hundreds of books stacked to the ceiling. He turned the TV off and whispered to himself, "The Virex, they're finally here." He opened a drawer and pulled out a dusty file. Project Phoenix, top secret year, 2109 status, deactivated purpose, galactic contact protocol. Smiled. "Let's see if we're still ready." Back in the Arctic base, Rhea walked into a hidden room. The door had no handle, just a scanner. It read her eyes. The door slid open with a soft hiss. Inside was a large chamber, silent, empty, except for a silver pod in the middle. She placed her hand on it. The pod glowed and spoke in a deep human voice. "Welcome back, Captain. Do you wish to activate the program?" Rhea didn't answer at first. She just stared at the glow. "Not yet," she said, "but soon." Meanwhile, strange things began happening around the world. In Brazil, lightning struck the same hill 3 times in 10 minutes. In Egypt, ancient symbols on the pyramids began to glow for the first time in history. In New York, a homeless man sat on the sidewalk, begging for food, and then, suddenly, vanished. No flash, no noise, just gone. A child saw it and screamed. "The Virex. We're collecting samples, testing minds, testing biology." They had done this before, on many planets. Civilizations older than Earth had failed. To them, humans were weak, emotional, disorganized, unready. But this time the Virex had made a mistake. They thought Earth was just another primitive world. They thought humans were just clever apes. They didn't know. Humanity had been preparing, quietly, silently, for centuries. As the ship hovered, Earth watched. As people prayed, cried, and panicked, a few stayed calm. A few knew this day was coming. And one of them was Captain Rhea. She walked back to her team, her voice steady. "Send this message," she said. Kian blinked. "To the ship." "No," Rhea said. "To the people of Earth. She tapped a button and spoke into the mic. "This is Captain Rhea Lynn of the Earth Defense Council. Do not fear. Do not kneel. This is not the end. This is the beginning." The virus ship stayed silent for 3 days. It didn't move, didn't speak, just hovered above Earth like a dark god watching a broken toy. People stopped going to work. Schools shut down. Planes were grounded. Churches filled. Streets emptied. Everyone waited. On the 4th day, it began. Without warning, 5 smaller ships dropped from the sky like spears. One landed in Central Park, another in the Sahara, a third near Mount Fuji, one in Brazil's rainforest, and the last, right in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. They were shaped like smooth black pyramids, humming with a low sound that vibrated in the bones of every human nearby. No doors, no lights, just standing there like statues from another world. Then came the broadcast. "This planet has been selected for union evaluation. 5 representatives will be chosen. We will measure intelligence, strength, and adaptability. Comply or be removed." That was it. No greeting, no explanation. They didn't ask permission. They didn't care. To them, Earth was a specimen, a frog on a table, a bug under glass. In Kenya, Ravi Mwangi, a 22-year-old mechanic, was fixing an old solar bike in the workshop behind his home. He lived in a small village, far from the cities. He had never traveled far, never seen snow, never believed in aliens. Until that morning. As he tightened a bolt, the sky flashed green. A boom shook the ground. Everyone ran outside. Ravi looked up. One of the Virus pyramids had landed just beyond the hills. He didn't run. He didn't scream. He walked toward it. Elsewhere, in Tokyo, a 14-year-old girl named Hannah was pulled from class. She'd solved the logic puzzle in 13 seconds, one meant for AI. She didn't know the school had sent the results to the Global Council. Now she was being flown to Antarctica. In Brazil, a woman named Ava, blind since birth, had drawn an exact sketch of the alien ship days before it arrived. She didn't know how. She just said, "It came to me in a dream." Now the military wanted her. Ravi didn't know any of this. He only knew one thing. When he got closer to the Black Pyramid, he heard a voice. It wasn't outside. It was inside his mind. "You are not like the others. Step forward." Ravi stumbled. His head rang, but he stepped forward. The pyramid opened. A small panel slid open, revealing a glowing metal orb. It floated toward him. He didn't run. It floated, then touched his arm. Pain. Then light, then silence. He fell. Back at Earth's Global Defense Headquarters, Captain Rhea watched the reports coming in. All 5 pyramids had selected a person. None were government leaders. None were soldiers. None were famous. Just random humans. "We don't choose the strong," the virus explained in their next message. "We choose the average. That is how we measure potential." Rhea frowned. "They're looking in the wrong places." Inside the alien ship, Ravi woke up in a room filled with glass walls and strange lights. His arm burned. He looked down. The orb had melted into his skin, but it wasn't a wound. It was technology, a living circuit, glowing faintly under his skin like veins of light. "Where am I?" he whispered. A voice echoed in his head. "Do not fear. You are being upgraded." Then pain again. Images, symbols, stars. He saw memories, not his own. He saw the virus testing species across the galaxy. Each one failed. Each one wiped out. Because they all broke under pressure. Too slow, too emotional, too fragile. The virus believed this was how life should be judged. But Ravi was different. Something in his blood pushed back. Suddenly, the images stopped. The orb glowed red. Alarms echoed through the ship. Outside, virus scientists panicked. His cells are mutating, adapting to fast. This wasn't expected. Inside, Ravi's body healed. His vision sharpened. His mind cleared. He saw through the walls, heard whispers a mile away, felt electricity like it was a river flowing through him. The virus tried to shut it down. They failed. Ravi stood up. And he smiled. Back on Earth, Captain Rhea received the report. Subject number 3, Ravi Mwangi. Status contained. Result, incompatible with upgrade. Cause, unknown DNA pattern. She stared at the screen for a long time. Then she opened the Phoenix file again. Year, 2109. Subject code, H-type anomaly. Status, buried, never activated. Warning, If H-types are triggered, it means the virus made contact. Protocol. Do not interfere. Let evolution proceed. Rhea turned to Kian and whispered, "He's one of them." "One of what?" he asked. She looked up. "One of Earth's secrets." At that exact moment, the alien pyramid in Antarctica exploded, not from outside, but from within. And from the ice, something crawled out. Not a human, not a machine, something else, something older, something that was waiting. The world thought it was being invaded, but Earth wasn't under attack. It was being examined, like a lab rat under a microscope, for the virus. This was a routine evaluation, a planetary intelligence test. They'd done it thousands of times, and every time, the result had been the same: failure, followed by removal. They believed Earth would break, just like the others. They were wrong. Far beneath the Pacific Ocean, something began to stir. Buried deep in a forgotten trench, beyond the reach of sonar or satellites, lay an ancient vault. Steel, stone, and silence. For 200 years, nothing moved inside. Then, for the first time in centuries, a light blinked, a pulse echoed, and an eye opened. Meanwhile, Ravi Mwanji sat alone inside his containment cell on a virus ship. His arms still glowed with alien metal, now fused with his bones. He had stopped feeling pain. He now felt something else, awareness. He could hear footsteps through walls, feel magnetic pulses in the floor. He began to understand the virus language, not by learning, but by instinct, like remembering a forgotten word. They were watching him closely, but what they didn't realize was he was watching back, on the other side of the planet. Captain Rhea Lynn stood in an underground room hidden inside an Icelandic mountain. Walls glowed with soft blue light. A table projected a holographic map of the Earth and all 5 virus pyramids. Next to her, a man in a black coat stared at the screen in silence. He had no name, no ID, only a title: the Archivist. He spoke softly. "We should have activated the Guardians earlier." Rhea shook her head. "No, humanity wasn't ready. But now, the virus just forced our hand." She pressed a code into the panel. A blinking red warning appeared. Phoenix Protocol partial initiation begun far below. The vault in the Pacific Trench fully powered on. Inside, metallic capsules unsealed one by one, hissing with cold vapor. Inside each, a human body. Not ordinary, not natural, born from science and silence. The Phoenix soldiers. Back in Ravi's cell, something strange began to happen. The lights flickered. Gravity shifted slightly. A soft voice entered his head again. But it wasn't virus. It was human. "Can you hear us, Ravi? You've been chosen. You are not alone." His eyes widened. Who are you?" No reply. Just images. A giant underwater city. A burning sky. A woman with glowing eyes standing before a ship shaped like a bird. He collapsed to the floor, overwhelmed. The virus panicked. "He's destabilizing. Shut down the interface." But it was too late. Thousands of miles away, in Norway, a boy named Elias hiked into a forest where no trees grew. Locals said it was cursed land, but Elias wasn't afraid. He was drawn there by dreams, the same ones every night. He reached a stone circle with strange carvings. He touched one, and it lit up. A deep hum shook the ground. Elias's veins glowed faintly blue. The virus data systems exploded in alerts. Human DNA patterns exceeding expected variables. Multiple nodes activating across Earth. Psychic feedback loops forming. A known network detected. They didn't understand it. They didn't see the pattern. But Captain Rhea did. She stared at the blinking world map in the mountain base. Each red light on the globe marked something the virus didn't plan for. Elias in Norway. Ava in Brazil. Hannah in Tokyo. Ravi in orbit. Not anomalies, Rhea whispered. They're signals. Beacons. Suddenly, Kian burst into the room. "Ma'am, the Arctic team just found something buried beneath the old shuttle base." "What is it?" Kian handed her a photo. It showed a door, made of dark crystal, with glowing text above it. Not alien, not machine, just old. Very old. Rhea's hands trembled. "Give me the Archivist," she said. Now, in orbit, Ravi stood. His eyes now shimmered silver. The virus guards raised weapons. But he lifted a hand, and their weapons shut down. He spoke, not with fear, not with anger, just certainty. "You came here to test us," he said. "But this isn't your test." The ship trembled. Outside, The main Virax mothership adjusted course for the first time. They were afraid. At the bottom of the Pacific Trench, a metal door fully opened. Steam poured out. The first Phoenix soldier stepped forward. Her body was tall, graceful, glowing with light beneath her skin. She looked up to the surface and smiled. Back in the Icelandic base, the archivist arrived, pale-faced. He spoke only one sentence. "They don't know what they've awakened." Rhea nodded. "No, but they will." To be continued. Would you like me to begin part 4 next? With deeper reveals about Earth's hidden technology and a powerful twist about the Virax's real fear, long before Earth had countries or cities, before humans built towers or touched the stars. There was a war, but not between humans. It was a war above Earth, and a secret beneath it. And now, that secret was waking up. Ravi Mwanji sat in silence inside the alien ship, surrounded by Virax guards who no longer dared come close. His arm glowed, his eyes burned silver, but he felt calm. There were voices inside him, but they were not Virax. They were not even alive. They were memories. "Ravi, you are the second wave. You are humanity's answer to arrogance." He saw images, not dreams, but stored data, a network, a hidden link between people, places, and deeper stations that had been asleep for hundreds of years. And one word appeared again and again: Phoenix. Meanwhile, far beneath the Pacific Ocean, the ancient vault opened fully. Floodlights from old machines flickered back on. The cold steel walls began to pulse with blue veins of light. Inside the chambers, 50 capsules stood, each holding a human. But they weren't normal. Their eyes opened in perfect sync. They didn't speak. They remembered. These were not soldiers trained in boot camps. They were built, programmed, and designed by humanity's secret scientists before any public knew about alien life. One step forward. A tall woman with bronze skin and a neural crown fused into her skull. She looked to the vault door, then to the blinking console that had just reconnected to Earth's defense network. "Status?" she asked. The AI responded calmly. "Virax presence confirmed in Earth orbit. Stage 1 protocol complete. Stage 2, awake all units. At Earth's Global Strategic Command." Captain Rhea Lynn stared at the data feed flowing in. From satellites across the planet, dozens of hotspots had suddenly activated. Ancient bunkers, hidden bases. Even cities no one remembered building. All of them came online at once. A hologram flickered above the table, a world map, red markers flashing on every continent. The archivist walked in, face pale. "We were never the first," he whispered. Rhea turned to him slowly. "What do you mean?" He handed her a worn book, sealed in plastic, titled Earth Chrono Archive. 001A subtext. The War Before History. She opened the first page. Drawings of ships, not alien, but Earth-made, hovering over pyramids, volcanoes, and oceans. Humans riding machines, controlling energy, fighting invaders in the skies. And then, a page with a quote: "When the Virax came the first time, we beat them without anyone knowing. We buried them beneath myths, sand, and silence, and we left a message for the future. If they return, awaken the truth." Meanwhile, Ravi stood in the center of his alien prison. Now fully awake, he reached out to the walls. They responded. The ship's systems, powered by Virax code, began to flicker. One by one, doors unlocked. Security failed. Lights turned blue. He whispered, "You built weapons, but we became the storm." Suddenly, the Virax leader appeared through a hologram. He looked disturbed, a rare sight. "What are you?" he demanded. Ravi turned calmly. "I'm what you forgot to study." Back on Earth, an alarm sounded in Antarctica. The ice cracked for miles. Soldiers from the Arctic Research Base stared as a massive circular hatch rose from beneath the snow. It was carved with ancient human symbols, but glowed with energy far beyond modern understanding. A door opened. And inside, a staircase led downward and downward, as if it had no end. They sent a drone. What it found stunned even Captain Rhea. A buried city, made of silver, lit from within, still alive. The drones contained a name etched into the wall: Ark-1, first human sanctuary. The Virax weren't Earth's first contact. They were just the first to return. At the bottom of the Pacific, the Phoenix soldiers walked out of the vault and into a massive underwater hangar. Ships were parked there, silent, dust-covered, but fully intact. One ship booted up on its own, lights on its body blinked to life. It wasn't just waiting for a pilot. It was waiting for a signal. That signal was Ravi. Back at Global Command. Kian looked at Rhea with wide eyes. Man, what do we do now? Rhea didn't hesitate. We let it happen, Kian stuttered. Let what happen? She looked him in the eyes. We let Earth remember who it is. Meanwhile, in the forest of Norway, Elias stood near the glowing stone ring. He had been quiet all day, but now he spoke to the trees, to the air. They think we're weak. Then his eyes turned blue. But they've never seen us angry, and above Earth, the Vyrix ship began to shake. It wasn't being attacked. It was being rewritten. Ravi reached out, not with hands, but with thought. He connected to Earth's buried systems. He saw every hidden city, every vault, every Phoenix soldier waking up. The Vyrix had miscalculated. They thought Earth was slow, but Earth wasn't sleeping. It was waiting. The Vyrix had studied war for centuries. They knew how to crush civilizations, how to poison oceans, silence stars, erase languages. They had wiped out hundreds of species, always with the same strategy: observe, analyze, overwhelm. To them, war was math, cold, predictable, efficient. But Earth was none of those things, and now Earth was awake. The first strike didn't come from Earth's military, not from tanks, not from missiles. It came from a school teacher in Nigeria, a woman named Amaka, who screamed as her students were scanned by a Vyrix drone. The moment her anger peaked, something inside her activated. The drone circuit shorted out. She didn't touch it. She just felt it. It dropped to the ground in smoke. Her eyes glowed gold. In the mountains of Chile, a retired miner named Carlos lifted a fallen tree off a child with one hand. He had never been strong, but now his bones didn't feel like bones. They felt like steel. His skin shimmered for a second, then returned to normal. A week ago, he was old and forgotten. Now, something inside him whispered, the war has started. We need you. On board the Vyrix mothership, panic spread through the command hive. Their scientists screamed in static, their AI analysts corrupted, their energy cores flickering. Earth's biology is reacting, one Vyrix officer said, but not uniformly. Another replied, this isn't random evolution. This was planned. Their leader stood still, voice low and bitter. They were hiding it. Back at Earth's strategic command, Captain Rhea Lynn stood in the war room, surrounded by dozens of holographic screens. She watched as humans across the world did things no human should be able to do. A woman breathing underwater in Bangkok, a boy reading minds in Cairo, a group of monks in Tibet floating midair without machines. Each event seemed impossible, but Rhea understood now. This was not mutation. This was reclamation. Phoenix wasn't just a military program, she whispered. It was a seed, a trigger, a sleeping system hidden in our DNA. Kian blinked. You mean we were built for this? No. Rhea replied, we built ourselves for this. In low Earth orbit, Ravi stood alone in the Vyrix control chamber, surrounded by energy and fear. He could feel the tension in the metal walls. He wasn't just one man anymore. He was a signal tower, his mind connecting Earth's awakened defenders like an invisible net. All across the globe, they felt him, a voice, a steady pulse, a reminder, you are not alone. You are not broken. You are the answer. The Vyrix tried to shut him down. They sent psychic shockwaves, viruses, neural dampers. Ravi raised his hand, and every system froze. You wanted a test, he said. Now you're part of it. He reached deeper into the ship's code and rewrote its language. On the Pacific seabed, Phoenix Ship 1 blasted from the trench like a rocket, water boiling behind it. It flew through the clouds, unnoticed by the world's military, because it didn't need fuel, engines, or even pilots. It responded to thought. The Phoenix soldiers inside it, ancient human guardians, had one mission: protect the world, no matter what it becomes. As they soared toward orbit, they saw the Vyrix ships retreating to high space. Not to regroup. To beg their leader for guidance, because for the first time in Vyrix history, a target had broken their model. In the shadows of an old cathedral in Prague, a Vyrix agent, a spy in disguise, met a man in a hood. You're not like the others, the agent hissed. The hooded man stepped forward. His skin glowed faintly blue. He smiled. No, he said, we're what came before the others. Then the sky cracked open above them, and a Phoenix drone descended. Back in orbit, Ravi reached the Vyrix high core, the inner system that stored all war data, species reports, and planetary risk indexes. He inserted a new file. Title: Humanity. Status updated. Risk level: Extreme. Notes: Capable of emotional adaptation. Strategic unpredictability. Willing to sacrifice for others. Power not based on biology or weapons, but something harder to measure. Do not underestimate. The Vyrix leader stared at the message for the first time in his long life. He felt uncertain, but it wasn't over. One of his soldiers ran to him with a terrifying report. We found the origin site of the Phoenix Code. It's not from Earth. He froze. Then where? The soldier whispered. It came from the outer veil, beyond mapped stars. A place even we fear. The same place that wiped out the ancients. The leader turned toward the dark void of space. If Earth was a seed, then who planted it? Back at the Iceland command base, Rhea looked up at the stars on the ceiling map. This war isn't just about Earth, she said softly. It never was. Kian turned to her, nervous. Then what is it? She closed her eyes. A reminder. She said that we're not the end of the story, just the next chapter. The Vyrix were not Earth's true enemy. They were only the messengers, and they didn't even know it. In deep space, beyond the stars the Vyrix had mapped, beyond, where even light dared to go, there was something older. It had no name, no face, no voice. Only shadows. And silence. The Vyrix called it the Veil. Their legend spoke of an ancient force that devoured stars, collapsed planets, erased time itself. No one had seen it, but everyone feared it. Until now, inside the Vyrix mothership, Ravi stood before the High Core, the center of their knowledge. He had just rewritten their records, updated humanity's status to extreme threat. But as he dug deeper into their system, he discovered something buried, a file marked Black Star, locked, sealed, forbidden to even the Vyrix leadership. Ravi's presence, part human, part Phoenix Code, bypassed it. The file opened, and what he saw changed everything. A dead galaxy. Millions of years ago, civilizations gone without trace. No survivors, no signals, no data, only one word pulsed in the report. Consumed by what? Even the Vyrix didn't know. They'd only recorded a signal before the collapse. A pulse of energy shaped like an eye, and a whisper in every language. We remember you. Back on Earth, Captain Rhea Lynn stood in the Arc One city beneath Antarctica. Her fingers traced glowing ancient texts on the walls, older than any known writing. It told the story of before the Earth we knew, before pyramids, before language. A time when something came from the stars, not to conquer, but to hide. The ancient humans weren't primitive. They were the last survivors of another star system, refugees. They didn't evolve from apes. They were built from what was left. In Project Phoenix. Not a weapon, not a defense, a warning system. The Vyrix thought we were the test. Rhea said quietly. Kian stared at her. Then what are we? She looked up at the glowing ceiling. A star map with one black mark that blinked red. She answered slowly. We're the alarm. Meanwhile, the Phoenix soldiers in orbit received a message. Not from Ravi, not from Earth, not from the Vyrix. A deep, slow signal, vibrating like a heartbeat through dark space. Old, cold, hungry. One of the Phoenix AI units translated it. We see you. We remember your flame. We are coming. The forgotten enemy had noticed Earth, and it was waking up. Inside the Vyrix council chamber. Panic exploded. We must leave the system. One commander shouted. The humans have triggered the Black Star. They've drawn the veils. Attention, but the Vyrix leader remained still. He stared at the data stream and whispered, no, we triggered it. The moment we underestimated them. Back on Earth, strange things began to happen. Skies shimmered with colors no one could name. Compasses spun. Oceans trembled. Birds flew in reverse. The moon glowed dark red for 6 days. And in the deepest parts of the human mind, dreams turned into visions. People saw a black ocean, a tower made of screams, and a creature with no face, but endless eyes. It was looking at Earth. It was waiting. The archivist approached Rhea with shaking hands. We can't stop this alone, he said. We won't be alone, Rhea replied. He blinked. You mean the Phoenix? She shook her head. No, I mean, the Vyrix. Ravi stood once more in the control chamber, now in full command of the mothership. He sent a message to the Vyrix home fleet. You came here to test us. You thought we were animals. Now, you must choose. Help us fight what's coming, or die with the rest. The Vyrix Council screamed in protest. allied with humans. They are reckless, undisciplined, illogical, but their leader knew the truth. He had seen it in Ravi's eyes. They are flawed, but they adapt, and we don't. Far away, at the edge of the solar system, a probe disappeared. No explosion, no signal, just silence. The black star was near. The veil was moving, and Earth, tiny, strange, beautiful Earth, stood in its path. The Phoenix network came online. In full. Every awakened human, Amaka, Carlos, Hannah, Elias, all connected through a glowing thread of thought and energy. Ravi spoke to them not with words, but with presence. They didn't need orders. They just knew. This was the final war, and they would not be fighting for humanity. They would be fighting as humanity. In the skies above Earth, Vyrix ships began to form defensive rings. Phoenix ships flew beside them, silent, bright, and elegant. Enemies. Now allies. Not because of trust, but because of necessity, and a voice echoed from beyond the stars, filling every heart with ice. You burned once. We will bury your flame. Captain Rhea stood on the edge of Arc One's highest tower. She looked up at the night sky. No stars, only blackness growing closer. She whispered into the wind, you should have stayed sleeping. The sky was gone. In its place, the black wave slowly moved across the stars. It had no shape, no color, just cold and silence. The veil had arrived, not in ships, not in fire, but in absence. Light didn't touch it. Time bent around it. Even sound died in its shadow. On Earth, people stood together, not as countries, but as one world. Soldiers dropped their flags. Children clutched their parents. Old men looked to the sky and whispered forgotten prayers. And then the world began to shine. From deserts, from oceans, from mountains, a light rose from beneath the earth. The Phoenix network had awakened all of its guardians. Millions. Not soldiers, not machines, humans. But not as they were. As they were always meant to be. In orbit, the Vyrix and Phoenix fleets aligned. For the first time in history. Ships that once hunted each other now flew in formation. Aboard the command bridge, Ravi Mwanji stood beside the Vyrix leader. Neither spoke. They didn't need to. They both understood. This was the last line. Behind them, Earth. Ahead, extinction. Inside Arc One, Captain Rhea Lin activated the world's final defense, the resonance array, the device older than any nation, buried deep under Antarctica. Designed not to kill, but to remember. It amplified emotion, broadcasted memory, projected hope. She touched the console and closed her eyes, and then Earth began to sing, not in words, but in feeling. Every human, every farmer, every artist, every child felt it in their chest. Connection. The veil moved faster. It swallowed 3 defense drones in seconds. No explosion, no struggle, just silence. Ravi looked up at the growing shadow and said softly, it doesn't fear our weapons. It feeds on fear, on disunity, on emptiness. The Vyrix leader asked, then what do we use? Ravi looked down at Earth, glowing with golden light, pulsing with memory, courage, and rage. We use the one thing it can't understand. Across the world, the Phoenix-born humans rose into the sky. Some flew, some walked on light, others stood still, but their minds lit up the air around them. The resonance ray connected them all. Billions of hearts beating in rhythm. One world, one people, one truth. We may fall, but we will never kneel. The veil struck first. It sent down spears of black energy, erasing entire battlecruisers in seconds. But for the first time, something pushed back. A Phoenix ship, controlled by thought alone, surged forward. A blazing comet of defiance. It slammed into the shadow, and the shadow flinched. Not because of the impact, but because the ship wasn't afraid. It was full of memory, full of sacrifice, full of love. Then Earth fired. Not missiles, but humanity itself. The resonance array launched a wave of emotion, so pure, so intense, that it bent the air around the planet. The wave hit the veil. And for the first time in eons, the darkness screamed. It had no mouth, but it screamed because it remembered this feeling long ago, before it became a monster. The Phoenix soldiers led the charge, their bodies glowing. Their minds sharp. They were not perfect. They were not gods. They were human. And that was enough. Ravi connected fully with the ray. He saw every moment in human history flash through him. A mother shielding her baby during war. A doctor crying after saving a stranger. A soldier refusing to fire on the enemy. A little girl building a paper star and saying, one day, I'll go there. Every act of kindness, pain, hope, and defiance became a weapon. He whispered, "We are not the strongest. We are not the oldest. But we feel, and that is something you can never erase." The veil struck again. It sent a psychic blast meant to break minds. But instead of fear, it found music. It found Ravi's memories, his mother's laugh, his father's callous hands, the quiet nights fixing bikes under stars. It found Earth, and it broke. All around the sky, the black waves shattered like glass. The stars returned. Light came back. The veil didn't die. It withdrew. It had never lost before. It had never been shown what it truly feared: wholeness. The battle was over, not with victory shouts, not with explosions. Just silence. And peace. Back on Earth. Captain Rhea sat alone in the tower of Arc 1, watching the sun rise. Kian approached. "We did it," he said. She smiled faintly. "No," she replied. "We remembered who we are." Ravi stood at the edge of the Vyrix ship, now floating peacefully above Earth. The Vyrix leader bowed slightly. "Your species, we were wrong." Ravi turned. "No," he said. "You were right. We were broken, divided, afraid." He looked back at the blue planet. "But when we remember each other, when we stand together, we are unbreakable." The final transmission from Earth was sent across the galaxy. Simple, honest, eternal. "We are humanity. We are not perfect, but we endure. We feel. We remember. We forgive. And when you come for us, you face all of us."